Hello students, I have come back again. In previous videos, we have discussed about the disposal of ammonia from amino acids. There were 6 reactions. I have completed the 6 reactions. Now, a overview. The sources of ammonia in our body. The sources of ammonia in our body. From where the ammonia is come to our body. Number 1, ammonia is released from amino acids. I have already discussed the reactions at trans-deamidation. This trans-deamidation means the transamination and oxidative deamination of glutamate in liver. This togetherly called trans-deamidation. Next reaction is L-amino acid oxidase, then D-amino acid oxidase, glutaminase, sulfhydrolase and dehydratase. This sulfhydrolase and dehydratase are non-oxidative deamination. I have make another videos on these topics. You can see. Number 2 source of ammonia in our body, that is ammonia is released from catabolism of purine and pyrimidine bases. If you remember the purine catabolism steps, where the ammonia is released in purine catabolism, in case of purine catabolism, that is the ADA means adenosine deaminase enzyme step and guanase steps, from where the ammonia is released. And number 3, ammonia is released from biologically active amines. What are the biologically active amines? Example, that is catecholamines. These are the 3 sources. Ammonia is released from the amino acids, purine pyrimidine based catabolism, and the biologically active amines, that is the catecholamines. Okay. Now come to the transport of ammonia or amino group from different tissue. How they transport of ammonia or amino group from different tissues. From most of the tissues of our body, the ammonia or the amino group is transported through blood by glutamate, glutamate amino acids. From glutamate amino acid, how does it reaction occurs? It is that glutamate, it is the finalized form. I have already discussed, from all amino acids the amino group is funneled into the glutamate, and the glutamate comes to the liver where it releases the ammonia, and this ammonia will be further go into the urea cycle to produce the urea. Now as the all amino acids are funneled their amino group into the glutamate, so always glutamate concentration in blood or blood glutamate level is obviously very high than all other amino acids in our body. So glutamate concentration in our blood is almost 10 times than any other amino acids in our blood. Glutamate concentration in our blood is 10 times than any other amino acid concentration in our blood. Now come to the second point, that is from brain. From brain, I have already discussed when we discussed about the glutaminase enzyme, that from brain the amino group of other amino acids are not funneled through the glutamate. The glutamate is formed, but from glutamate also it is funneled through the amino group of glutamate, and other amino acids in brain are funneled through glutamine, GLN, glutamine. Now how this is formed? In brain, this glutamine is formed from glutamate by the enzyme glutamine synthetase, GLN, glutamine synthetase. It is not synthase, it is synthetase. As it is synthetase, so you can easily know that ATP is required. Where the energy requirement occurs, then the synthesis step, the enzyme name is synthetase, not synthase. So ATP to ADP plus PI, and the amino group is transferred to glutamate to form the glutamine. Okay, by the enzyme glutamine synthetase, this glutamine then come to liver. This glutamine then come to liver, and in liver I have discussed about the glutaminase reaction where the glutamine is converted into glutamate. I am not mentioning or repeating here again and again. I have mentioned in this video of glutaminase where we discussed the glutaminase and sulfhydrolase and dehydratase. These three are discussed in one video. You can see this. Now come to the from skeletal muscles. What occurs from skeletal muscle? How it is transported? From skeletal muscle, it is transported as alanine. How alanine is formed in skeletal muscle? It's a very easy. You all know. Just link this. From where the alanine is formed? In transamination reaction, I have mentioned that transamination reaction is a bidirectional reaction because the because the equilibrium constant is almost around 1 in transamination reaction, so it is bidirectional. It depends obviously in the substrate concentration to which direction the reaction will occur. Now from skeletal muscle it is alanine. Now what is the source of alanine? I have in transamination reaction I have discussed that the alanine to pyruvate is formed in the transamination reaction or the vice versa. Now what is pyruvate? Pyruvate is the end product of the glycolysis. You know it. Pyruvate is the end product of glycolysis. So from pyruvate, where does the pyruvate comes in skeletal muscle? Glucose. Glucose to pyruvate is formed in the glycolysis steps, and this pyruvate will be transaminated. In the transamination reaction, the pyruvate will be converted into the obviously alanine. This alanine को structure क्या है? You know that is the NH3 plus CHCO minus, and here it is the CH3. If the amino group is replaced by the keto group, then it will be pyruvate. From pyruvate to alanine is formed in skeletal muscle. This alanine will go to the liver, and then the amino group will be released. Okay, this is the alanine. How it is formed? You know the reaction. I am again mentioning the pyruvate to alanine by alanine aminotransferase reaction. Here the what will occur? Glutamate to alpha ketoglutarate will be formed. The opposite direction, transamination reaction. Okay, and obviously the cofactor is PLP, pyridoxal phosphate. In transamination reaction, pyridoxal phosphate is the coenzyme. It is a must. You don't forget this PLP in the transamination reaction. Now what about this alanine? After reaching the liver, the alanine will release its amino group. After reaching liver, the alanine will give off its amino group. So the rest, the carbon skeleton will remains of alanine. Now what will occur in liver? What will occur in liver? On reaching liver, ammonia is released through transamination, and pyruvate is converted back to glucose. Okay, that is this alanine again converted into pyruvate. Okay, alanine is again converted into pyruvate. It is obviously in liver. This alanine from skeletal muscle, alanine go to the liver through the bloodstream. In liver, alanine again converted back into the pyruvate. Okay, because again the transamination reaction, obviously transamination. Now, as it is the pyruvate is formed, this pyruvate will form glucose. Pyruvate will form glucose. How pyruvate will form glucose? by neoglucogenesis process, you know it. By neoglucogenesis, this glucose will go back to skeletal muscle. This cycle is called glucose alanine cycle. This cycle is called alanine cycle, or it is called Cahill's cycle, Cahill's, Cahill's cycle, alanine cycle or Cahill's cycle. This is the alanine cycle or Cahill's cycle. That if in your question, that is the describe the Cahill's cycle or alanine cycle, you start from skeletal muscle, glycolysis, glucose to pyruvate, pyruvate to alanine, alanine comes to the liver through bloodstream, then in liver transamination reaction, alanine converted back to pyruvate, pyruvate will converted back to glucose by neoglucogenesis, this glucose will be transported to the skeletal muscle. This cycle is known as the alanine cycle or the Cahill's cycle. Now come to our last topic of today's discussion, that is disposal of ammonia. Disposal of ammonia in liver. It is very easy. You obviously know it from your 11-12 knowledge, obviously. Disposal of ammonia in liver. You know that ammonia is highly toxic in our body. Highly toxic, mainly for brain. So if the ammonia reaches the brain, crosses the blood-brain barrier, if crosses the blood-brain barrier, I have discussed about it, that is the edema may present, coma, and ultimately the person can be died. Okay, I will discuss the toxic effects of ammonia in brain in separate video lecture. Don't forget it, it is a very important. Now my now topic of discussion is the disposal of ammonia in liver. That is, the ammonia is highly toxic, mainly for brain. So that's why ammonia is not released through our body in direct ammonia or free ammonia form. This ammonia will be converted into urea. Converted into urea, which is soluble in water. Ammonia is also soluble in water, but it is highly toxic. Where this occurs, urea is formed in, obviously, in liver by urea cycle. By urea cycle, which was discovered by Hans Krebs. Discovered by Hans Krebs and Hensley. Hans Krebs and Hensley, those two scientists discovered the urea cycle first. I will discuss the urea cycle in detail in my next video. Okay. It is the urea cycle is the first metabolic cycle discovered. Metabolic cycle discovered. Okay. For this urea cycle, they got Nobel Prize. Now the disposal of ammonia. Our focus of discussion is disposal of ammonia in liver. It is in our body. In case of human, that is the by urea is released through our urine. So we are ureotelic. But some other animals also which cannot release urine through urea. Mammals mainly release urea as their excretory material through urine, so those are called ureotelic. Birds releases or excretes uric acid, so they are called uricotelic. And animals they release direct ammonia, so they are the ammonotelic. So they are ammonotelic. This is our focus of discussion today, that mammals release urea as excretory material. So ureotelic, birds uricotelic, aquatic animals ammonotelic. Ammonia is highly soluble in water as they lives in water. That's why they release direct ammonia into the water as urine. Okay, that's why I've discussed. It's a very important for your knowledge. Thank you. In next video we will discuss about urea cycle in detail. Thanks.